On YouTube.
What? You can start your logo. Jai Ho, Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you, everybody.
No, can't hear.
Everybody else is able to hear, Prabhuji. That's what I'm getting messages. Do something on your end.
Gopika? कश communicate करते
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody to this Monday evening session of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right now we are in the heart of Srimad Bhagavatam. 10th canto is the smiling face of Krishna, and chapter 29 to 33, 5 chapters of Rasalila, the heart of 10th canto and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So last time we spoke about the varieties of gopis. In essence, there are Nitya Siddha gopis who travel with Krishna from Loka to Loka, and there are some Sadhana Siddha gopis who are like very special gopis, and then there are some simple gopis. So the point is, we discussed about the Sadhana Siddha gopis special categories. 7 of them we discussed last time. I will just enumerate them. Maybe you can hear the lecture, but it is good to brush up. We spoke about Mithila Vasini gopis, Kaushala Vasini gopis. We spoke about Ayodhya Vasini gopis. We spoke about Dandakaranya Rishi Chari gopis. We spoke about Yagya Sita gopis. We spoke about Panchavati Bhilnis. We spoke about Jalandhar city gopis. And now we are going to speak today of Devangana gopis. That means the demigoddess gopis. Who are those? Why we are discussing them? Because we wanted to know who are the participants of Rasalila. Is it random? Or is there some rule? Is there some qualification? What kind of people enter? What kind of people could not enter? So that's why we are discussing this. So that we can understand the esoteric, supremely fortunate nature of this Leela, and supremely fortunate to be able to participate in the Leela. It was so exclusive in Dwapar Yuga that everybody just could not participate in it. No Gopas, no cows, no Mother Yashoda, and not all Gopis also. So that is why we want to know who are these Gopis and why are they so special, and how they were allowed to enter, how and who were not allowed, and what all things they did with Krishna. So please, a thumb line is that all the Gopis were special, no doubt about it. They were in the highest rasa for Shringar rasa, Madhuri rasa. But yet, all of them did not participate in Rasalila. And all of us should also know that Rasalila did not take place only once. We all speak about Sharadiya Rasalila, Sharad Purnima, Kochagari Purnima. But that was just the beginning of the great event or great events. So just beginning. And there, thereafter, every single day, on every square inch of Braj Bhumi, Rasalila was performed. So in other words, every square inch of the 84 kroshas of Vrindavan Dham is Rasamandal. Every single square inch, there is Rasalila performed. At the same time, every gopi did not participate. So today we are talking about Devangana. Devangana means demigoddess. And Yajna Purush, we know Yajna and Dakshina. They were husband and wife. And Yajna Purush was born out of Ruchi. Ruchi was Prajapati. So Prajapati Ruchi gave birth to Yajna Purush. And the Yajna Purush was so beautiful, so attractive that all the demigoddesses were attracted to him. And so Deval Rishi, last time also I made one point here, that each category or each group of gopis, they have got some blessings of some Rishi, some great soul, some Maharshi, and sometimes Yamuna Devi also. Each and every gopi group has got the special position by some intervention of some great soul. And whatever formula this particular special soul gave them, by performing that formula, that particular group of gopis could enter the Rasalila or could enter with Krishna Leela. So here, Devala Rishi, we read in the Bhagavad Gita, Asita Devala Vyasa. They all are proclaiming that Krishna, your Supreme Lord. That's why I'm also saying your Supreme Lord. I'm not the only one, because I'm your friend, I'm proclaiming. But even Asita Devala Vyasa and so many other names are being mentioned there. So one of them is Deval Rishi. This Deval Rishi met these demigoddesses who were attracted by Yajna Purush and told them, go to Himalayas and perform tapasya. So second thing we note here, that one is the divine intervention of a sadhu, and second thing is a hard work, hard sacrifice of comforts and pleasures for the higher purpose of attaining Krishna. So there was a king of Malav Desh called Divasthiti Nanda. His name was Divasthiti Nanda. He came for Braj Yatra. Everybody, the concept of Yatra is there right from beginning of creation. It is not that it is newly developed. So he came to Braj Yatra with his 1,000 wives. And Nanda Maharaj gave him shelter by offering him 2 yojanas of land. 1 yojana land is 8 square miles. Something like 16 square miles, 32 square kilometers. That kind of area was given to him as a guest residence on the land. So all of them stayed there, 1,000 wives and Devasthiti Nanda. And those demigoddesses appeared as a result of their tapasya under the guidance of Deval Rishi. They appeared as daughters of this Devasthiti Nanda. And after they took birth, of course they were in Braj Bhumi only. Again they performed Magha Masavrat. Now Magh is going on, by the way. Not going on, it will start. It will start on 1st of February. And 5th of February is Magha Panchami, Vasanta Panchami. So Magh month also is a very auspicious month. Magh Mela is very auspicious, at Triveni Sangam, there is 1 month of Magh Mela. Everybody goes and take bath and does some vrat, very intense. And Magh Vrat is very powerful. So they performed Magha Masa Vrat and they singing the glories of Sri Gopal, the cow-herding boy Krishna. And one day Sri Gopal appeared in front of them as a result of their Magha Masa Vrat and accepted them as his own gopis. The next category of gopis is Aushadhiya, medicinal herbs. You see, don't think that only human beings are eligible to participate. All the living beings, especially in celestial arena or in Vrindavan Dham, all are highly conscious. Vrindavan Dham is completely chinmay, completely conscious spiritually, divinely conscious. So, what would you think when this medicinal herbs will be attracted? There has to be some doctor, na? Then only the medicinal herbs will appear. What is the connection of herbs with anything else? So the doctor was Lord Dhanvantari. Lord Dhanvantari appeared as one of the 14 Ratnas of Samudra Mantana. And when he appeared, he had a leech in his hand, he had Amrut in his hand, and he was so attractive. So the medicinal herbs, which are also living entities, which have feelings and which have personality, they got very attracted to the Lord, Aushadhiya. And they took birth as girls and did, how much tapasya? You can understand the glory of Rasalila. One kalpa, 43 lakhs 20,000 years of tapasya these ladies performed were before medicinal herbs. Lord gave darshan to them and they expressed desire of having conjugal loving relationship with him. So they became creepers and they became trees in Brajbhumi. Now this reminds me, again I want to tell you that in Brajbhumi, every single plant kingdom member, plant kingdom is not just trees, plant kingdom is bushes, creepers, weeds, small trees, hugest trees, all kinds of varieties of trees or in plant kingdom are there in Vrindavan Dham. And they are either Radharani herself, they are Kalpavrukshas of Vaikuntha, or they are all the gopis. So these Aushadhi gopis, they became trees, they became vines, they became creepers. And what reminds me is that Narad Muni one time went to Kusum One and sat under one Ashoka tree in the Ashoka forest. And he started his meditation, and lo and behold, in his meditation, he saw all the trees in that Ashoka forest, which were Ashoka trees, were all getting transformed into gopis, decorating themselves in a beautiful shringar, and they were all running to enter the Rasalila, including the tree under which Narad Muni was sitting. So when he opened his eyes, there were no trees. All trees had gone. And they were in daytime residing as gopis, as the trees, meditating. Pandavas were meditating in the form of trees at the bank of Radhakunda. So how much to tell? So many trees. They're all divine. And these Aushadhis, they took birth as trees and they entered Rasalila as per their convenience at the time of Rasalila. Now we are going to 10th category of gopis. I hope all of you are attentive. Prithu Maharaj, the Shaktyavesha avatar of the Lord, he appeared. And he was churned out of the body of King Vena. And this is the power of Brahmins. They churned his body and out came the Shaktyavesha avatar of the Lord, Prithu. What does that mean? When there is a saintly intervention, from the worst things, the best things come out. That is the power of a spiritual master. From the worst thing, spiritual master, the spiritual master creates the best thing out of the worst thing. So, Prithu was produced by churning King Vena's body. So now, when Prithu Maharaj also appeared, there was great attraction in some women. They got attracted to him. And then what happened? They all met Atri Muni. Atri Muni is the husband of the best of all chaste ladies. Her name is, what is her name? Anasuya. Anasuya is the best chaste lady in the whole three worlds. So they met Atri Muni, the husband of Anasuya, and they milked the earth. Now you see, when earth is in difficulty, she takes the form of a cow and she runs to Brahma. In this case, the earth was supposed to be chased by Prithu Maharaj because she was not delivering the goods that she was supposed to deliver. She was harassed by the demoniac forces. So she was not providing the best of hers. And when Prithu Maharaj appeared, he was angry with her. And he wanted to chastise the earth that you must provide whatever you are supposed to provide. And she gave reasons that I am harassed by the demoniac forces. But still, Prithu Maharaj was very angry and she took the form of a cow and she started running. At that time, that cow, who was earth herself, was milked by these ladies who were attracted by Prithu Maharaj. And you see how poetic description is there. The description says, the mind of those ladies who were attracted to Prithu Maharaj was the pot, and the milk was their sankalpa to meet Krishna. So they milked the cow with the sankalpa of meeting Krishna, and they also became Braj Gopis. Interesting. 11th category of Gopis, they were the Apsaras of Swargaloka. They were charming Apsaras of heavenly planets. They went to allure. Now see, the interesting part is this. Nar and Narayan, they took birth and they started performing tapasya in Badrikashi. They were in tapasvi vesh, but they were so beautiful and attractive. Like for example, Vaman Dev was also in tapasvi vesh only, Brahmachari Batu. But he was so attractive and so sweet. He melted the hearts of so many ladies, including motherly ladies, including everybody. So they were so charming. They went to allure Nar Narayan Rishi because Indra was a little bit upset. Anybody does any tapasya on earthly planet, Indra gets disturbed because he thinks that, oh, they will qualify to become Indra and then he has to vacate his seat. So he sent Apsaras to allure them. And lo and behold, what happened? Instead of alluring them, they got allured. They got attracted. And especially to Narayan Rishi, that is, Narayan means Lord himself. And they fell in love with Narayan. They became restless and they desired to make him their Swami. And by the blessings of Narayan, they became Gopis and married Krishna. Because he said, in this incarnation of Narayan Rishi, I'm supposed to only perform tapasya. That is my duty, or that's my purpose. So I can't get married and enter into Grihastha ashram. But in my next incarnation, when I'll come as Krishna, you all can become Gopis. So they also became Gopis. So they are called as Apsara Gopis. They were Apsaras. It is said that when another time when Indra again got disturbed and sent somebody to allure Narayana Rishi, they could not allure, number one. And then I think Narayan Rishi created Urvashi and gifted Indra, said, take her and gift Indra from my side. Instead of trying to send somebody to attract me, this is a gift for you. It could be Ramba, it could be Menaka, or it could be Urvashi. But one of the best Apsara was gifted by Narayan Rishi, produced by himself from his body, and sent with the Apsaras back to Indra. That shows, these puny attempts, these worldly ambitions that the demigods harbor to maintain their positions, maintain their sense gratification, appears so puny and insignificant compared to the supreme divine power of the Lord. So we have finished 11th category of Gopis, and 12th category of Gopis are very interesting. Sutal Loka ladies. The background behind it is that Vaman Dev, anyway was so attractive, but he was in a brahmachari form. So he blessed Bali Maharaj. He went on and on and on blessing Bali Maharaj. And finally what happened? Final blessing was that I will go with you to Sutal Loka. I have gifted you Sutal Loka. I have made the Sutal Loka. It was ordinary before. I have made Sutal Loka much more opulent than Indra Loka. And I will go and guard it as a Dwarapal. I will stay with you. And he went. With Prahlad Maharaj, he went to Sutal Loka, and both of them became guards, Dwarapal. Isn't it amazing? The Lord is not just talking that I am Bhakta Vatsala, I am the servant of my servants, I am the servant of my devotees. He is acting. He has become Sarthi of Arjuna. It's not that he is just talking pravachan. telling you to become Bhaktadas. He is himself first behaving as Bhaktadas. So he said, I'll become your doorkeeper, and he became doorkeeper. Lakshmi was, searching, where is my Lord? What is he doing? He's gone for some small purpose. He's not come back for a long time. The Lord was in Sutalloka, running from, there were so many gates in Sutalloka, the palace of Bali Maharaj. And he would choose to come from many random gates, and then he would have to find out and run to that gate before him, to stand there and to greet him and walk with him. Amazing. But even in that servitude situation, serving as a doorkeeper, the demoniac ladies of Sutalloka were attracted to Vamandev. Please understand this. So whether the Lord is acting as a charioteer, or the Lord is acting as a doorkeeper, or Lord is acting as a humble servant, a menial servant of his devotees, massaging the feet of gopis, he is a Lord, he is all attractive. He doesn't lose his position of all attractive nature, even if he wears some opulent shringar or doesn't wear opulent shringar, he remains beautiful. So these ladies got so attractive. They're called as Vamandev Mohit Gopis. They went to Durvasa Muni. Now see, again, one sadhu is intervening here. They went to Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni gave them Krishna Panchanga Vidhi. How to worship Krishna with Panchanga. Panchopachar, that's what we call it. What is Panchopachar? Gandha Pushpa, Dhupa, Deepaka, and Naivedyam. Gandha, that is Kumkum, that is Roli, and Pushpa, then there is Dhoop, that is via Agarbatti or Dhoop, Gobar Dhoop. Then there is Deepak of ghee, and then there is Naivedyam, some eating item. This is called Panchopachar. Or otherwise there is Shotoshopachar. It's very elaborate when we worship the established deity. But anyway, Krishna Panchanga Vidhi is very powerful, and that was given to these demoniac ladies attracted by Vamandev. And they did Yamuna Archan also. They were worshipping Yamuna in her company. They did Krishna Panchanga Pujan, and they achieved Krishna as their husband. Attracted by Vamandev, they were blessed to become gopis of Krishna. Krishna performed Jhulan Leela with them at the banks of Yamuna with Sri Radha. That means what? They did not participate in Rasalila. They enjoyed Jhulan Leela with Krishna. 13th category of gopis, Nagakanya gopis. Who are they? When Ananta Shesha appeared, and Ananta Shesha is not one, by the way. The original Balaram is one. But Ananta Sheshas are unlimited. Like Vishnus are unlimited. That way, Ananta Sheshas are unlimited. Under each universe, below the Rasatala, there is one form of Ananta Shesh who is holding the whole universe on his head. I told in Mahabharata Katha that how Ananta Shesha got freed from the curse of his mother of getting destroyed by performing tapasya, and Lord Vishnu appeared to him and he said, what service I should do to get rid of this sin or the curse of my mother. And Vishnu said, you go under the universe and hold the universe on your head. So under each universe, there are Ananta Koti Brahmandas. Under each universe, there is one Ananta Shesha who is holding the universe on his head, taking the position right below the lowest position. Under the lowest of Rasatala, under that he is holding the whole universe. There are 14 planetary systems. So when he appeared in the Garbhodaka ocean, there were Naga Kanyas, snake ladies. We also get reference of these ladies when Kaliya was being subdued by Krishna. Do you remember? So these ladies were like that. They were like Naga Kanyas, snake ladies. So they got attracted to Ananta Shesha. Was very, very beautiful, having 1,000 hoods. And again, one sadhu has to come in between. So Gargamuni came. And Gargamuni gave them Balabhadra Panchanga, how to worship Balabhadra. And then what happened? He helped them to also perform it and make it perfect. वो सिद्ध कर दिया उन्होंने. Balabhadra Panchanga उनके लिए सिद्ध कर दिया. And they all became, in the end of Dwapar Yuga, they all became Balaram's gopis. Please understand. And they became Balaram's gopis and they danced with Balaram in his Rasalila. Especially in Chaitra and Vaishak, when Balaramji performed, he came back from Dwarka and he came to solace the gopis of Krishna, and he danced with his gopis and had his Rasalila. And of late I learned that Balram also changed his form and took the form of Krishna, dark Krishna, and also danced with Krishna's gopis also to solace them. And that Balramji is represented at Dauji, at Baladev, in the southern petal of Vrindavan, where there is 6 feet by 6 inches tall murti, which is dark color, and there is a Shirsagar Kund over there, and we get Khadi Shakkar, what is called Mishri Prasadam there, especially. And Revati is standing there with great respect on the side of Balramji, not next to him, but in different place facing Balramji. So that Balramji, finally, then he had his own set of gopis when he performed that Leela, breaking Yamuna into many pieces, and he drank Varuni. Varuni came and gave him herself as a drink, and he became intoxicated, rolling eyes, and called Yamuna to come closer and perform Rasti. Bathing in the water, Yamuna refused, so he broke Yamuna into many streams by his plow. And then when she came close, he bathed and they danced, all the gopis. So these are all gopis of Balram, they were Nagakanya gopis. Then comes a very important category of gopis called Shruti Chari gopis. Listen very carefully, O dear devotees. Shruti Chari gopis is what gopis? All the Vedas are called Shrutis, to be heard. The knowledge of the Vedas is to be heard. So they are all called Shruti. So when you hear, what are you receiving? You are receiving Shruti. And what is Shruti? You have to hold it in your ears. So you become Shrutidhar. It comes in your ear as Shruti, you hold it, you become Shrutidhar. So in the olden days, there was no script was there, no books were there, no library was there. Everybody would just hear, hold it, and pass on to the next one. Library was in the brain, by the way. Soft library, no hard library, no hard copies. Kali Yuga created hard copies. Kali Yuga created script, and all that was created by Vyasadeva. Okay. So these Shrutis are also Devis, please understand. In the spiritual world, or in the, what do you want to speak of spiritual world? In the reality, in the real realm, what we are living in the material world or the spiritual world, whatever is the creation, in the full extent of creation, everybody is a person. Tree is a person, wine is a person, animal is a person. Even the grain of dust in Vrindavan is a person. Please understand. And also not person, conscious, Chinmay, divinely conscious, assisting Krishna, pleasing Krishna, participating in Krishna's Leela. So similarly, all these Shrutis or Vedas were all Devis. And they were also feeling little sadness that, oh, in us, Lord is not directly glorified. All perception of the Lord in us is indirect. Vedas don't talk like Srimad Bhagavatam talks. Vedas talk very deeply philosophical, complicated words, and you have to just go on guessing and deriving. You derive understanding, oh, this means Krishna. So Vedas appeared as Devis one time, and they went to Shvetadvipa. That is called as the local Vaikuntha in the material world. In the particular Brahmanda, there is one Vaikuntha is there called Shvetadvipa, where our Kshirotakashayi Vishnu lives. And where does the Shvetadvipa, where is the island? It's on the Kshirodak Sagar. It's on the Milk Ocean. In the Milk Ocean, there is a Shvetadvipa. There is an island where Lord Vishnu is residing. So they went there and they pleaded the Lord, oh my Lord, look at our position. Reading us Vedas, nobody is going to get liberated. Then how do we get liberated? What is our salvation? So out of compassion, the Shvetadvipa Vasi, the Lord who is residing in Shvetadvipa, he showed them Goloka Vrindavan. Are you with me? He showed them Golok Vrindavan. And what did he say in Golok Vrindavan? All the Nitya Siddha Gopis serving Krishna, worshipping Krishna, performing pastimes with Krishna with great ecstasy, great feelings, and great love. Okay. So it was like a very natural, purest, divine scene that they saw. And you see, It's mine and your experience also. When we go to temple and we meet sadhus and pure devotees, or when we went to Barsana for Bhumi Puja and we were amongst 250 exalted, spiritually elevated souls there. So we are just watching them. We're just watching them. But it is not just passive. You are watching them also is affecting you divinely. Just watching them, this great soul sitting together and talking is such a spiritually uplifting, enlivening experience. So similarly, just watching Golok Vrindavan as a movie, it's not going to be a 3 hours theatric show. It's going to churn your heart with divinity. Today you can imagine now you're sitting in front of me and suddenly you see a Golok Vrindavan, teaser. A teaser comes in front of you, suddenly in lecture. And you see Krishna, you see Gopis, you see cows, you see Jamuna, you see Govardhan in Golok Vrindavan. So what do you think? You will say, okay, fine, teaser is over, now let's watch a serial in the TV. You don't want to do that. You are going to be divinely affected, influenced. So similarly, when they saw the teaser of Golok Vrindavan, they were absolutely, moved and inspired and motivated. They told Krishna, all Shrutis, now we are influenced or reflected by Kamini Bhav. That means we are now developed conjugal feeling for you, my Lord. We want to serve like these Gopis. We are inspired. We just can't just now wait. So Krishna said that, Kshirodakshai Vishnu said that at the end of Saraswata Kalpa, you all Shrutis will become Gopis in Braj. So they appeared in Braj, in Vrindavan Dham, in different Gopas' houses. These Gopis, they are called as Shruti, Chari, Gopis. Now it doesn't end here. See, please understand, you are in one place, there you perform tapasya, that is separate. Then you get birth in Vrindavan Dham, that's not the end. There also you perform tapasya, and there also you qualify. It's like you do MBBS, and you have to then practice at some hospital. Then you are eligible to practice outside independently. It's not just like you come out of MBBS and just sit outside. Nobody is going to come to you because you are a freshly passed, inexperienced doctor who has not killed anybody through his medicine up till now. So nobody will go to try you also. So they work under somebody. So now these Gopis have qualified to take birth in Vrindavan Dham by the mercy of Kshira Utaka Shahi Vishnu. And now they have got another person to train them. Who is that? Durvasa Muni. Who is that? Vrinda Devi. Another place was Yamuna Devi. This is Vrinda Devi. Vrinda Devi is a very special Gopi. She is not part of Ashtasakis, but she is extraordinarily dear Gopi of Radha and Krishna both. She is the orchestrator of all the pastimes, daily pastimes, unlimited pastimes of Vrindavan Dham, when Krishna appears as Krishna in Vrindavan Dham. So they worship Vrinda Devi and Vrinda Devi bless them. And by the mercy of Vrinda Devi, one time Durvasa Muni came at the Mathura side of Jamuna. See, there is a Gokul side of Jamuna and there is Mathura side of Jamuna, right? Kamsa in his prison, Devaki and Vasudeva were in the prison of Kamsa at the Mathura side of Yamuna. So Vasudeva came out and crossed Yamuna and came to Gokul side of Yamuna. Is that right? Right? So he was on the Mathura side of Yamuna. So these Gopis, cooked great amount of variety of palatable, tasty dishes to please Durvasa Muni. And they all walked all the way from north side to the south side of Yamuna, and they wanted to cross Yamuna. Yamuna was flooding like anything. Now, how do they cross? So much of food items are there. How do they cross? So they met Krishna on the way. Krishna is very tricky. He is always there. So they met Krishna on the way, and then they asked Krishna, "Hey, we have got so many food items. We want to serve Durvasa Muni. How do we reach there?" So Krishna said, "Go and tell Yamuna that Brahmachari Krishna is asking for the way. Please give way." The Gopis were puzzled, This boy, such a lusty boy, day and night he is with us, performing pastimes with us, always mingling around us, constantly surrounded by us, beautiful girls, young girls. And he's saying, tell Yamuna to give way. Brahmachari Krishna is asking the way. Wow. Now that time they were in hurry. They just couldn't waste time in discussing. They said, let's get out first, do our business and come back. And they really went, and with the half-hearted faith, they said, Brahmachari Krishna is asking for the way. Yamuna immediately gave the way. There was a dry land and big road, nice road where thousands of gopis could cross over. And they went there. They were so happy. Again, Yamuna united. The path was clear, again covered by water. And they went there. They met Durvasa Muni, and the Durvasa Muni was sitting there. He was so happy to see them. They all offered their pranams, and Durvasa Muni, they offered all their items. Now, we can't imagine also what kind of items must be there. Now, we go to Radharani Priya's house and she makes such a fantastic items, and we don't even know actually. Sometimes you have to ask each item and the recipe and everything and then keep eating them. And gopis are cooking, imagine. There were thousands of items, each one had brought. And maybe so much of area must have been covered with the items only. And Durvasa is a Siddha yogi, a very special yogi who is a participant of Krishna Leela in Brajbhumi. He has a special role to play and special Leelas he is participating. So he sat. You cannot imagine that if I sit for eating, if you go in your house, I can eat 2 chapatis, some sabji, some rice, some dal, some salad here and there. I'm full. Mataji, I'm sorry, I cannot eat more than this. Durvasa Muni ate all those thousands upon thousands items. Great relish. Drank water, juices, digestive juices, everything he drank. He was so happy. Gopis were happy. And he blessed Gopis that you will get the association of Krishna. Actually, that was their test actually. After the Vrinda Devi's blessing and Vrata, this was the test. This was qualifying round. And then time came, after receiving the blessing, time came to return. And on return, again, Yamuna was flooded. So they went back to Durvasa Muni. Muniji Maharaj, we have to go back. How do we go back? Durvasa Muni made a very amazing statement. Durvasa Muni said, you go and tell Yamuna that Durvasa Muni who lives only on Durva Rasa. Why it was called Durvasa? Because Durva, that Garbhankura, that is what we use in Ganpati Puja, na Durva. Uska ras bahut medicinal hota hai. So he used to only drink Durva ras and survive on that. So he is called Durvasa. So he said the Durvasa Muni who survives only on Durva Rasa is asking for the way. Tell that to Yamuna. They were wondering, right now he ate thousands upon thousands of items and he's saying he survives on Durva Rasa. But we kya karenge? We went and decided the mantra that Durvasa Muni who only survives on Durva Rasa is asking for the way. And Yamuna Devi immediately gave the way. They just went across. Now they are doubly puzzled. One question already is there in the mind. Second question also is right. And they crossed over Yamuna and went to Gokul side of Yamuna. Again, Krishna is standing there. Now they were peaceful because their job is done. So they said, Krishna, we have a question to ask you. You didn't understand that you are such a person all time mingling on ladies. And how do you say that brahmachari? How does Yamuna also give way? He said, I may be with all of you, but I'm not attached to any one of you. I am just with you for your pleasure. And you may think I'm attached to you. I am not attached to you. So I am in essence inside brahmachari. But you may enjoy my company and you may think I am with you and all. Oh, acha, okay. What about Durvasa Muni? Durvasa Muni ate everything in front of us only. He said he ate everything in front of you, but he ate every item as Durva Ras only. He did not eat your items like gulab jamun, malpua, pakoda, rice and kheer and everything. That's what you made. But his consciousness while accepting your service was like Durva Ras only. That is why he is Durva Rasa Hari, Durvasa Muni. So they felt so much awe and reverence, So these also ladies, then they relished the company of Krishna's association. We have something like 14 we have covered. Now I mentioned last time that when Lakshmiji appeared from ocean as one of the 14 Ratnas in Samudra Manthan, Lord Ajita appeared, that time. One appeared was Lord Kurmadev. Something I interestingly learned in Samudra Manthan. Kurmadev appeared to stabilize the Mandara mountain because Mandara mountain was sinking while they were churning the milk ocean. So he came to below the Mandara mountain, and he had the back. His back was 1 square yojana in area. 100,000 yojana, not 100,000, 1 lakh yojana, 1 lakh square yojana size. That is 800,000 square miles was the area of the back of Kurmadev, on which Mandara mountain was moving like a churning rod, and it was like beautifully scratching his back, and he was like, he went to sleep actually. He went to sleep. And when you sleep, you don't breathe like when you're talking or when you are awake. You breathe in a very different pattern. Maybe deep and slow you breathe. So it is said when Kurmadev went to sleep because of this wonderful, pleasant scratching done by the Mandara mountain on his back. Whatever breathing he was doing is supposed to be the high tide and low tide of ocean. Today also, whatever high tide, low tide you have in the ocean is the effect of the breathing of Kurmadev. So anyways, that's a different story. So this Lord Ajita came and all the Sakhis of Lakshmi, they were very attracted and they also became Gopis. Then there is Shvetadvipa. There were many Sakhis of Lakshmi. They got attracted to Shvetadvipa Lord. Urdo Vaikunta, Bhagwan Ajita staying there. The Devis were attracted. Loka mountain. There were many ladies got attracted to the Lord of Loka mountain. All of them were blessed to become Gopis. So there are major 20 categories of Gopis who actually came to Vrindavan Dham. So this ends my short description of only 20 categories of Gopis. And I took so much time and trouble to explain to you this because only one reason. Only one reason. No audience here should take Rasalila as cheap and lightly. Because common people in the world, they are taking Rasalila very cheaply. They also exhibit the perverted reflection of this Rasalila during Navaratri. And when that happens, then in the month of December, there is so much line in abortion clinics. Because after 1 month, 1.5 months, they all want to abort their babies, which were conceived during Navaratri nights. It's all perverted reflection of the real Rasalila. Because of the understanding of this whole thing is so cheap that they want to imitate that. They think, oh, I'm a Gopi and my boyfriend is a Krishna. So they all want to dress up and go in the night and get aroused and then have some relationship and then come up with these things. So what is most important before even we start hearing the description of Rasalila is the platform, is the bhumika, is the parashubhumi, is the background that you have to understand what is this, what I'm going to hear now. We have to create our, prepare our consciousness and mind to receive. Sometimes it is said, I heard in Vrindavan Dham, this was told by Radheshlal Goswami in Radha Vallabh temple, that when tigress, when she gives milk, that milk cannot be held or contained in any ordinary pot. If it has to fall down on the ground out of the mouth of the cub, you require a golden pot to hold. And if somebody drinks that, he will die. It is so powerful, so hot in nature. So only the cub or the baby of the tiger can take it. And there is a lot of medicinal value in that. The human beings use that. But it's very rare and very powerful milk. It's not ordinarily available like milk of cow. So क्या बोलते हैं कि वो शेरनी का दूध है, वो सब लोग नहीं पी सकते उसको. Like that, Rasalila is like शेरनी का दूध. It's not for everybody. If we immaturely try to drink that, we will die. There will be our spiritual death, not physical death. We will be spiritually dead, trying to get something. For one time, I was told in childhood that one person went to one sadhu, Ram Bhakta, and he insisted. I want to have Hanuman darshan. You are a Siddha sadhu. You can give me Hanuman darshan. The sadhu said, Baba, you are not qualified. You will not be able to take it. You will not be able to tolerate it. You will not be able to, what do you call, sustain it or contain it. It's not like seeing a movie. But she was so insisting. Finally, the sadhu touched his hand on his head. And this fellow got Hanuman's darshan. As soon as that Tejasvi effulgent darshan, he died. Actually, on the spot he died. He just couldn't bear the page of Hanuman. It's like you can go and see Hanumanji in temple with Sindoor and everything. But if real Hanumanji comes, then you need to be qualified to see Lord Ram, to see Lord Krishna, to see all the Gopis and Vrindavan Dham. You need to be qualified with this Charma Chakshu, studded with lusty desires. You cannot have darshan of Krishna and Ram and Hanumanji. Narsinga Bhagavan will die actually. So that is why we are trying to understand. Even hearing about Rasalila, we need to prepare our consciousness. We need to actually create awe and reverence, the glory. We have to understand. That's why I took all the trouble to explain to you, so that little bit we will touch the pastime, but we should not misunderstand, misinterpret, and try to do manoranjan, entertainment. That should not be the mood. We have to be always like this, that we are not qualified, but we are still able to hear. We are still able to, we are given a chance to hear and read. So let's begin. It was after 1 year of Govardhan Leela that Rasalila started. So the year when Govardhan Leela was performed, Krishna was a 7-year-old. Everybody knows that. So that means when Rasalila was begun by Krishna on the Sharad Purnima, Krishna was 8-year-old. So first I want to clarify here that even by today's standard, what to speak of Dwapar Yuga standard, Dwapar Yuga people would live 1000 years. Maybe by the end of Dwapar Yuga, the lifespan has reduced to 200 years. So take it for granted. Because Bhishmadev was supposed to be 180-year-old when he was on the battlefield, when he left his body. Okay. Arjuna was 75 and Yudhishthira was 85 and Krishna was 125, something like that. But they were all supposed to be young people. They were not supposed to be old people. It's like your life is 200 years and if you are 50 years, you are supposed to be just blossoming youth. When your life is 100 years, 25 years is blossoming youth. When life becomes 50 years, 12 years is blossoming youth. And life becomes 20 years, 5 years is blossoming youth. That's like that. So you can imagine when Krishna is 8-year-old boy of Dwapar Yuga. Any 8-year-old boy, even today, does he have sexy desire in his body or mind? Not possible. The 8-year-old boy will jump in the garden with 7-year-old girl and go round and round, merry-go-round and holding hands and playing. You don't find anybody having any lusty approaches between each other. So how Krishna and how we can think that these are all lusty pastimes? He was only 8-year-old boy. He was playing flute and all the gopis were getting attracted to him. So I will repeat hundreds of times. Prabhupada repeats hundreds of times in the Krishna book. There was no lusty involvement in Rasalila. First of all, the first platform to understand. It is not a interaction between boy and a girl the way we think in our material world. Your daughter becomes 15, 16, 17, your son becomes 17, 18, and then you see him with a girl and something gadbadi is going on here. That is your understanding because they have become young now. There are hormonal changes in body. Body shapes body things have changed. But the same boy and girl, when they are 5-year-old and they're playing in your house, you don't think like that. They are having some sexual interactions. So Krishna was only 8-year-old at the beginning of Rasalila. Second point, Krishna was born in Chandra Vamsha. In Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami takes lot of pains to describe about great souls taken birth in Chandra Vamsha and Surya Vamsha, solar dynasty and lunar dynasty. Radharani happens to be in solar dynasty. Lord Ramachandra happens to be in solar dynasty, Surya Vamsha. And Krishna happens to be in Chandra Vamsha. So when Krishna saw the full moon, red color full moon, this is very specifically mentioned, red color full moon of Sharad Purnima, he was enamored. He developed desire to enjoy Rasalila with Gopis. Now, Chandra played an important role in the inauguration of Rasalila because he was feeling proud that my Lord is going to perform the highest of all pastimes with looking at me. I am going to be the inaugurator of the feelings of Krishna to feel like performing Rasa dance. So that he was so happy and proud that I have got that role to play, to ignite the fire of desire in the heart of Krishna. So Krishna saw Purnima moon, Ashwin Purnima moon, and developed desire to dance with gopis. Why? Give me a minute. Because all the gopis had performed Katyayani Vrat. We described that in previous chapter of Tirharan Leela, stealing of clothes of gopis, right? So all the gopis had performed Katyayani Vrat, wanting to have Krishna as a husband. And then first Krishna stole their clothes, and then he allowed them to enter in Rasalila. So in response to the Katyayani Vrat of all the gopis, Krishna decided to fulfill their desire. And what the Lord did? Well, before the what the Lord did, let us describe the atmosphere. Now you are watching a movie, so when we perform a drama or something, we make the stage, na? It may be artificial. We put some stones and some trees, some true trees, some false trees, some backdrop, some video backdrop we put up, and we create an atmosphere of war or of so many things. So here is the real atmosphere. Let's see. What is happening? What was the atmosphere when Krishna is about to start to play his flute? Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in all opulences, yet upon seeing those autumn nights scented with blossoming jasmine flowers. What is it said? Sharadota fulla mallika. The mallika flower is jasmine flowers. In our South India, Udupi, we have those flowers, mallika flowers. It is called a Dodda Moggare in my village. Every courtyard grows that, and it's extremely precious, fragrant mogra. That is not the mogra which we see in Mumbai. That is different mogra. So the autumn nights scented with blossoming jasmine flowers. Full moon, red moon, throwing his light all over. He turned his mind towards loving affairs to fulfill the purpose of his desire. He employed the internal potency, Maya Devi, Yoga Maya, he employed to create an atmosphere for developing conjugal feelings. Tado Duraja Kukubaha Karair Bukham Pracha Vilimpa Anna Arunena Shantanaim. What his meaning is, the moon that rose, anointing the face of the western horizon. That means the western horizon, it is now decorated with the beautiful moon, with the reddish hue of his comforting rays, and thus dispelling the pain of all who watched him rise. Whatever supposed to be pain was there was completely dissipated by just observing that beautiful red moon arising from the horizon. The moon was like a beloved husband who returns after a long absence, and then he adorns the face of his beloved wife with red kumkum. What a beautiful poetry Shukdev Maharaj is writing here. Suppose a husband comes after a long time, and the wife is red, morose all the time, and suddenly husband comes and it becomes so much pleasurable to see him. And he comes and he takes kumkum and adores the face of his wife. How much pleasure the wife will receive by this loving interaction that the husband is exhibiting. Društva Kumuda Vanta Makhanda Mandalam Ramana Nabham Navakonkumarunam Vanam Tat Komala Gobi Ranjitam Jagau Kalam Vamadusham Manoharam. Lord Krishna saw the unbroken disc of the full moon glowing with red effulgence of newly applied vermilion. Like kumkum, it was appearing, like newly applied vermilion, as if it were the face of the goddess of fortune. He also saw Kumuda lotuses opening in response to the moon's presence. That means when the moon comes, the special lotus called Kumud, they were blossoming in the waters of Jamuna, and the forest gently was illuminated by the beautiful red-white rays of the full moon of Kartik Purnima, Ashwin Purnima. Thus the Lord began to play sweetly on his flute. Now he started, with this atmosphere, he started playing his flute. Thus he started playing his flute sweetly on his flute, on his lips, attracting the mind of beautiful gopis. When the young gopis of Vrindavan heard Krishna's flute song that aroused romantic feelings, their minds were captivated by the Lord. They went to where their beloved waited, each unknown to others, moving quickly, so quickly that their earrings were swinging back and forth. Now, let us find out what they were doing and what kind of flute Krishna played. Krishna played the fifth note on his flute, which was only meant for gopis. And we'll take a small diversion here to know what is this flute of Krishna and what kind of notes are being played. There are three kinds of flutes Krishna has. Of course, he has got unlimited type of flutes. There are also marble flutes. There are golden flutes. There are silver flutes. There are stone flutes. There are flutes of sometimes many meters long and many feet wide, you know. So, but three main types are there. One is called Bansuri, which is 18 inches long. One is called Venu, which is 6 inches long. Venu and Bansuri and Basuri and I'm forgetting them. One is 6 inches, one is 8 inches, one is 6 inches, one is 12 inches, one is 18 inches. Venu and Basuri and one more thing. I'll come to mind. Now there are 8 notes in each flute. Krishna produces 8 notes. Now see the noteworthy effects of all notes. When Krishna plays first note on his flute, what happens? The meditation of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva gets broken. They can no more meditate. Shiva stops playing his dabru. Brahma gets stunned and astonished on the lotus flower, and Ananta Shesha starts swaying hypnotically. Second note, Yamuna is flowing in one direction, usually. Yamuna starts creating whirlpools in Yamuna water. And afterwards, after creating whirlpools, she starts flowing backwards in the opposite direction. That is the effect of second note. Third note, the moon stops moving in its orbit. The moon gets stunned and stops there only. Fourth note, the cows start running to Krishna like mad. They stand motionless with the upraised ears to drink the nectar of the sound of the flute. So you can imagine the scene. The cows come running, listening to the sound, towards the sound, and the sound is coming from up. So they're looking up, their eyes are up, the ears are standing up, the tails are raised, and the baby cows are drinking milk. And because of the hearing of the sound of the flute, the baby cows stop sucking the milk from the udders. So their mouth just drops, jaw just drops. And the mouth having the jaw dropping has some milk in it. And the milk starts now dripping down from down the mouth on the earth. And the earth, there are creepers who are taking the nectar of the goras falling from the mouth of the cows. This is the effect of the fourth note. And the fifth note, it brings gopis running eagerly, who are longing for separation, longing for association. They come running to meet Krishna, dropping everything. They completely get mesmerized, mad. I will describe the effect of fifth note in detail a little later. Sixth note, it creates autumn with rich foliage, blossoms and fruits. And sixth note has another effect also. Sixth note melts the stones. Wherever it is played, if it is stone there, the stone starts melting. So all the footprints in the mountain are because of what? Because Krishna had played the sixth note over there. That's why there are footprints in the mountains. In Kamyavan, in Varsana, in Vrindavan, in Nidhivan. There are so many footprints are there. Wherever Krishna stood on the stone and played flute. For example, Sanatana Goswami was walking doing Govardhan Parikrama. Baby boy Krishna appeared in the form of a coward boy and tried to stop him, prevent him from doing Parikrama. Didn't stop. He went on the mountain Govardhan. He stood there, played sixth note. The stone under his feet started melting. Krishna stopped playing flute. By then a footprint was created. Krishna lifted that stone, went running behind Sanatana Goswami and gave it to him and said, please stop going around. Just go around this stone 4 times a day. You will get the benefit of doing Govardhan Parikrama. So this is sixth note. Autumn ushers itself and stones melt. Seventh note is very interesting. All the 6 seasons are ushered at one time only. All the 6 seasons, as per the desire of Krishna, they just provide. It's like, at certain point of time, you get the fruits of all seasons at one time only. You get mango also, you get santri also, you get banana also, you get coconut also, you get everything. You get peach also, you get draksha also, all at odd times, all together. That is the beauty of seventh note. Everything best of all 6 seasons appear at that time, and Krishna played 7 notes, seventh notes. Eighth note, the last one, is dedicated only for one person, that is to Radharani. When that note is played, no one in the whole creation hears it except Radharani. Not even Gopis hear that. Only for Radha alone, it steals her self-control and forcibly speeds her to meet Krishna. Now, we have described the noteworthy effects of 8 notes of Krishna's flute. Now, what were the Gopis doing when Krishna played the flute? Now, the scene is that all the Gopis are in their houses. It's a night time. Already it is dark. Already moon has come up. It's dark. And Krishna is in the middle of Vrindavan at the bank of Yamuna at Bansivat. And Gopis are in their homes, And it is all jungle, all forest in between, filled with wild animals. And the Gopis were at home. It's evening time. So some of them are milking cows. Let's see, there are very beautiful shlokas here. Parivesha anti asaditva payayanteha shishunpayaha. That means what? Some of them were decorating themselves. Some of them were shishunpayaha. That means they were giving milk to their babies on breast. Shushruta antyaha patin. Some of them were serving their husbands. Kashit dashantanyo pasya bhojanam. Some of them were feeding their husbands. Limpantyam pramrujantonya. That means they were applying some cosmetics around them. Ajantya kashcha lochani. Some of them were applying mascara on their eyes. Vyatyastra vastra bharana. Some of them were clothing themselves. So, as I mentioned, some of them taking bath. Some of them were applying cosmetics. Whenever the moment they heard the flute of Krishna, all of you ladies are very expert. They are standing on a mirror and they're very specific. This is for the eye. This is for the lips. This is for the cheeks. This is for the body. This is for the hair. And you are very organized and very conscious and very concentrated. But the moment the 5th note they heard, they got mad. They completely lost their composure, intelligence, understanding everything. And they started putting a mascara on their cheeks and lipstick on the eyes. And they were wearing their ghagras on the upper part of the body and upper cloth on the lower part of the body. And they were doing everything kind of very weird things. And they did all that. They were wearing clothes upside down, putting cosmetics some vague places, and looking very funny actually, the way they were putting their makeup. And some of them were serving their husbands, some of them were boiling milk and churning yogurt, some of them were in Goshala. I remember one story which exactly describes the craziness that came in the Gopis. So one Gopi was, it's evening time to serve the cows food, something, and time to serve the father-in-law, mother-in-law and household people. So she was preparing nice thalis for roti, sabji to give the human beings. And she was preparing big ghamelas with grass and everything, water and everything, wood and everything. So when the flute sound came and entered in her ears, so father-in-law said, Bahu, please give me my dinner. So she gave him ghas. She gave him grass and the wood and the big ghamela. And she went in the Goshala with roti, sabji and chapati and everything else. So the father-in-law saying, "Hey, Babdi hai gayi kya? Pagal ho gayi hai. She's gone mad. What is she doing? She's giving me ghas and she's giving roti, sabji to the cows." So this is what happened. And the flute aroused all romantic feelings. Their minds got completely captivated. The husbands and fathers and brothers and relatives, they were all stunned looking at the instant mad transformation in the behavior of their sister or wife or daughter-in-law or their family member lady. How suddenly this sane lady, such chaste lady, subservient lady, so much of obedience, so much of culture. What has happened? Suddenly this have become mad and she's doing some weird things, and most of all, they all gave up their activity. That means some of them were feeding children on breast, they dropped their children. Some of them were serving husband, they left their husband. Some of them were cooking at stove, they just left their food on the stove. Some of their milk was boiling on the stove, they just left there. Some of them were milking cows, they left the cows. Some of them were doing household chores, they left everything. They just started running out of the house. No one goes in Indian culture out in the night, They come from outside, inside the house when there is twilight time. In Indian culture, all the ladies are supposed to come in the house before it gets dark, before maybe during sunset and before it gets dark. So it's not time to go out of the house. It's time to come in the house from outside. And these ladies are running out of the house. So these husbands, fathers, brothers and relatives just try to stop them. But lo and behold, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains from Ujjwal Nilamani that there are, I also mentioned last time, but I repeat again, there were sadhana siddha gopis like Radharani, Ashtasakis and Manjaris. Whomever they give association by the qualification of other gopis, they were completely pure, they were not touched by any lusty desire in their family life also. So those gopis, when they were running out of the house, the brothers, husbands and father-in-law, they could not stop them. They were like wind, the way they ran, they were just helplessly watching, they couldn't stop them. It's like, can you stop a train running with 100 kilometers per hour? Nobody can stop it. Such kind of force was there. And other gopis who did not get the association, this is as per Kavi Karnapur, by the way. Other gopis who got the association, they never indulged into family life. But those who indulged in family life, they got children, they had husband, they were also enamored by Krishna's flute. They also wanted to go, but they were able to be stopped by their husbands, fathers and brothers. And they were put into prison. I mean, the house, they were locked inside the house. And their hearts yearned because the flute was being continuously played by Krishna from the banks of Yamuna in Vrindavan, in the middle of the forest, in the darkness. So they were like completely maddened and they were locked. So their hearts were like burning with desire to meet Krishna in the fire of separation. And most of them died. They left their bodies and their souls went to Yamuna, bank of Yamuna, Vrindavan. And half of them, it is explained that Krishna came from Yamuna in the form, entered their hearts and embraced them in their hearts and gave them his association in subtle form. That means they were not so pure so that they could not run the way the other gopis ran. But in the burning fire of separation, they got completely purified and they became qualified, but they were in the external locked condition. So Krishna came there and entered their hearts and gave them his association. And some of them left their bodies and entered Rasalila arena in the subtle form and danced with Krishna. So only those gopis could leave and join Krishna. Others who did not get sang of Nitya Siddha, got children from their husband, did not get a chance to enter Rasalila because they were not pure enough. They were stopped, imprisoned, intense meditation, purified them. The Lord manifested and embraced them in their hearts. Their punya and papa, their punya, so-called punya, was burnt by the transcendental ecstasy and they gave up their bodies. I'll again repeat, last time I said this statement. The Acharyas explain that to the degree one becomes advanced in bhakti, divine aspects of our life increase and material aspects of our life decrease. When one achieves pure love for God, Sri Krishna, material aspects get nullified and the body becomes completely spiritual. Now, there is one Sanskrit shloka which says, Kama Turanam na bhayam na lajja. Now, this Kama is not like our Kama. Kama means, in one sense, Kama has got very many meanings. Kama means work. The काम कर रही हूँ घर पे. That is also काम. And another काम is lusty desires. Another काम is broad understanding is material desires. Not only man, woman, but anything. You want money, you want fame, you want beauty, you want progress, you want increment. All these so-called, all kinds of desires are also called kama. But specifically, when we call kama vasana, that means attraction between man and woman. Okay. So, their attraction for Krishna was not bodily sexual desire. It was spiritual urge to unite with Krishna in service, to please him. I repeat again, it was a spiritual urge to unite with Krishna, to please him. Generally, we approach this subject matter to please ourselves. See, a wife approaches husband or husband approaches wife. They want to gratify themselves. They may decorate themselves, but ultimately the idea is to please themselves. And if that activity doesn't please themselves, then they leave. Love at first sight and divorce at first bite. Because the center of the whole union or the interaction is self. That's why it's called Kama Vasana. But that was not so in case of Gopis. When they were running from their houses like mad ladies, giving up all the maryadas, all the cultural regulations, they were not running for their pleasure. They were running to actually please Krishna. And to please Krishna, they gave up their families, their children, their houses, their maryada, their culture, their patibhratya, everything they left. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies them as the highest of all devotees in the whole creation, in the history of creation. Because nobody was able to ever match Gopis in their sacrifices, in their dedication, in their love, in their selfless love, and their desire to please Krishna by all those activities which they did. They did not just give up their cultural background just because they were, not very cultured ladies. No, they were very cultured ladies. They were ancient ladies. They were village ladies. They were having great culture of serving husbands, father-in-law, mother-in-law, cows, everything. But they left that. We can't imagine. Today there is not so much culture, but in those days they were very high culture. But they left that for the sake of Krishna. They ran in the forest. They didn't have fear of any animals. They didn't have any, they had also what they gave up was their lajja, was their shyness. For a lady, lajja is an ornament. Shyness is an ornament which makes a lady more beautiful, more adorable, more respectable. When the lady gives up all shyness, becomes shameless, then she is not respectable. So the source of their respectable nature, their lajja also they give up for the sake of Krishna, not for their own self. Here any ladies may give up their lajja for their own gratification. But in Gopi's case, they gave up their lajja to please Krishna. That's why one thing they gave up lajja, second thing they didn't have any fear in mind. Otherwise, a general lady, if she was walking in the night time, she's so scared. What to speak of walking in the forest filled with wild animals, only lit by moonlight. You can imagine how thick forest. Today we go to Vrindavan, there are hundreds of ashrams and hundreds of shops and Loi Bazaar, and Bansiwadi is filled, surrounded by so many ashrams. Where Bansiwadi is, what's in the middle of the deep dark forest. And they have to traverse all the many kilometers of few dark forest. So, Krishna said, Maryada, Lajja and Shishtachar. Etiquettes and Maryada means rules and regulations, and Lajja means shyness. They gave up everything for Krishna. And they now arrived. They have arrived where Krishna is playing flute. What is attracting them? The sound of the flute. What is their direction? To go and catch up the sound of the flute, to go to the source of the sound of the flute. And they saw Krishna. They were so happy to see Krishna. Krishna said, welcome. Now you can imagine what's happening here. You have come all the way to please Krishna, and you expect that Krishna will now accept you and there will be loving interaction. Krishna says, first question, why have you come here? What brings you here? First surprising question. Krishna says, it's frightening here. It's the middle of the dark, filled with wild animals. Don't you hear lions and tigers roaring, elephants roar, wild elephants roaring? Go, leave immediately. Not finding you at home. Your mothers, your fathers, your husbands, your mother-in-laws, your father-in-laws, your brothers, they must be searching for you like mad, anxious and angry. Gopis, you can imagine what the Gopis must have felt. You have left all the things far behind and you attained your goal expecting the interaction of love. And your object of love is saying, why have you come here? Please go back immediately. How disappointing. Huh? So it is said that Shukdev Goswami uses the word, hearing the free advice of Krishna, which they didn't want. They are not asking for the advice. Right? Oh Krishna, what we should do? We have come in the night here. What do you think we should do? Then it's all right. They're asking for the advice. They have not asked for the advice, and it is said that they were thinking, why is he giving us free advice? So listening to this free advice, they started looking away from Krishna. Suppose Radharani Priya is telling something to daughter very strictly. Do this. Why you did this? You should not have done this thing. The daughter doesn't like the advice. What she'll do? She'll look in the window. And you will say, why are you looking in the window? Look at me. I am telling you. I'm not telling the wall. You understand? Why are you looking at the window? Looking at the window means, I don't care what you're saying. So Krishna is giving some serious advice and they're looking in the forest. That means they didn't want to listen to that advice. They're not happy with the welcome, the way the welcome was given by them, by Krishna. They became somewhat angry. They became discouraged and started looking at the beauty of Vrindavan. And I described you. There were Mallike flowers, all fragrance was going around. Reddish kumkum like moonlight was falling on the trees and foliages, and the Kumuda lotus were blossoming. And the birds were chirping in the night. Please believe me, in the middle of the night, no bird chirps. Birds were chirping and making beautiful sounds. And the atmosphere was misty, mystic and misty. And so much of Sheetal, Manda and Sugandhit breeze was flowing. It was so captivating to the mind. And there's a moon in the sky with red kumkum color. And they are all watching that. And see, sometimes there is silence here. And then Krishna, after some time, he says, oh, now that you have seen all the beauty of Vrindavan, Vrindavan Saundarya, which is full of flowers and moonlight and cool breeze and flower and fruits, now you please go. You have seen the beauty. Now you came running to see the beauty. Now seen the beauty. I saw you watching the beauty. Please go now. Go to serve your husbands and go to give milk to your crying babies whom you have left. It is not good for you to leave the crying babies like this. Go and give your breast milk to them. I agree that you love me. And for my sake you have come. I understand that. But, the big capital but here, B-U-T. Your primary duty is to serve your Patidev and to take care of children and doing your family duties. If a woman desires good destination, Krishna is saying this. If a woman desires a good destination, they should never abandon their husbands, even if, and there are some words given here. Even if the word husband is obnoxious, even if the husband is dodaivi, unfortunate, old, stupid, deceased, and poor. There is one important line mentioned here. Please, all dear devotees, men and women, listen to this. If that husband has not fallen and deviated from his religious duties, if the husband has not fallen away or drifted away from his religious duty, that means he is well situated in dharma. In that case, even if he is obnoxious, stupid, unfortunate, old, deceased and poor, a woman should never abandon him if she wants to achieve a higher destination in her life. So it is mentioned over here that petty illicit relationships are highly condemned. Such ladies are barred from higher destinations. They get defaming, they receive difficulties in life, and they receive fear in life. And fourth one, he said, if you want to develop love for me, I know you have come all the way to love me, but it doesn't mean that you express your love for somebody by running away from home and coming in the middle of the night and meeting the person to express your love. This is not the bona fide way. Krishna is telling, now you should understand, all this is to taste the gopis. This is true also, but all this dharma is used by Krishna is to test the gopis, how much pure they are, how much pure their love is. Like Arjuna also is quoting all the scriptures to Krishna, why he should not fight. Everything was true what he said, but still it was not true, because the situation was not demanding those 6 reasons which Arjuna gave. The situation was demanding that even after the 6 reasons were true, still you should fight for dharma and fight for me. Mam anusparasa yudhyacha. So some things are true at some context, and the same things are not true in another context. Please understand. A sannyasi should not touch a woman ever in life. That is the truth when nothing is going on. But when a woman is alone, drowning in the river, and sannyasi is alone, he is supposed to jump and bring the lady out of the river and then leave her in somebody's hands and go away. So the truths are also to the context. When the context changes, the truth is applicable or not applicable. This is the situation. That's why we need expert guidance as per the situation. So Krishna is saying, it is not necessary for you to become defamed, to receive sankata, in difficulties in life, to receive fear in life, and to not achieve higher destinations. It is not necessary. You want to love me? I am telling you how to love me. Love for me is developed by Shravan, Jap, and Kirtan of my name. So you can hear about me. You can chant my name. You can sing my glories. You can worship my deity at your home. You can meditate and perform dhyana on my form. There is no need of physical proximity. There is no need of standing so close to me. Please go back. So whatever they desired, Krishna is saying they no need to do that. Please go back. What is Gopi's reaction? The Gopis were very discouraged. They were morose. They were depressed. They felt hopeless. They felt terrible anxiety. Bhayankar vichalta. Their heads were hanging down. They were taking deep sighing, breathing, and their lips were drying. And you know what important thing happened? All of them were creating small holes in the ground by their big toes. You know, an anxious lady, she always keeps scratching with the toenails on the ground. So they were all scratching the Vrindavan Bhumi with their toes and creating big holes under their big toes. Nirantar Ashru Pravaha, their eyes were constantly flowing like rivers of tears. And because of that, whatever wrong makeup they had done makeup, but it was wrong. Somewhere something else was put on. All the makeup of kajal and kumkum were flowing from their eyes, from their vakshasthal, and it was falling on the ground. The kajal and kumkum all fell on the ground with the tears that were carrying them. So every gopi's ground on which they were standing were all blue and black with the tears that were flowing from their body. Their whole dress was wet. And last was, they were having tremendous pain in their heart. Their sorrow was so heavy, they could not bear the weight of their sorrow in the heart. And they were mauna and sabda. That means they couldn't utter a word. Sometimes what happens, those are very hungry. I've given this example to many people in person, also in class also. And I really long to eat jalebi. I'm very hungry. But I'm at home and there is no jalebi, so it's okay. I'm just hungry. But then I get up and go to a jalebi shop when I'm hungry, and I see the jalebi, and then I want to eat the jalebi because right now I'm rightly hungry and right hot jalebis are coming out, and I'm just right there. I want to eat, and I order the jalebi, and then suddenly when I order and I take, I want to eat. Suddenly, some dumper of sand just turns upside down, and the strong breeze comes and falls on the jalebi that you're going to eat. अभी हुआ है क्या ऐसा आपकी लाइफ में? Like we are sitting on the ground to eat, and nice kheer is served, everything is served. Suddenly a strong breeze comes and all the matti just comes on your plate. What happens? You're very hungry, you want to eat, but you just cannot eat now because it is, first thing, it is right in front of you, and second thing, you can't eat it. So object of your happiness is in front of you, but is not acceptable now. So like that, when they were at home, it's okay, but now they are all the way come, running, giving up all their lacha, shishtachar, maryada, everything. And their object of is right in front of their eyes, and he is telling, get out from here. So they could not bear the pain of the thought that we have to go now from here. So they were quiet for a long time. They were stunned. They couldn't believe. And then I will just tell you exactly what did they say in few words, but I have to explain to you next time exactly what they replied. Their voice was faltering. They could not speak properly. They said, please, O Krishna, don't reject us. Don't speak such cruel, harsh words to us. One important line I will tell you. Whatever duties you mentioned to us, whatever relationships you mentioned to us, whatever children, family members, and cows, and whatever all you mentioned to us, oh Krishna, all those relationships we have dropped long time back. And they said, they compared those things, those duties, like to clothes. Like, no, I have got this jacket, I've got the kurta, then I've got something else inside, I've got so many things on me. And when I go home, first I'll remove jacket, then I'll remove the kurta, then I'll remove inner thing, then I'll wear night dress. So I'll remove the dress in the layers. First one, outer one, then the inner one, like that. So like that, they said all these variety of layers of clothes of our duties, we have removed and thrown long back. We don't even know where they are. And you are telling us to wear those clothes again. We don't even know where we dropped them. We have dropped them long back. So we are not able to, जो कर्तव्य आपने बताए, वे सब हमने बहुत दूर छोड़ दिए. All those duties we have left long behind. Duty towards you is higher than the duties towards any family members, any children, any husband. Because you are our real husband. Don't call us as Vabichari. Don't call us as performing illicit relationships. You have stolen our hearts. You played the flute and stole our hearts. We have offered our heart to you. Are udho manna bhayo daspis. There's only one heart and one mind. We have offered it to you, my Lord. And you are not willing us to go. What is our connection as a family members? It's all temporary connections. You are the eternal Paramatma, and you are our husband. Your original husband is you, my Lord. And our relationship with you is more important than anything other family relationship that you are uttering here as duties. You have ignited the fire of love in our hearts by playing your flute. Due to that, you stole our mind and hearts that was absorbed in household duties. Why did you play the flute? You are already absorbed in household duties. You played the flute and attracted us. So, your words are quite contradictory to your actions. What you are doing is totally contradictory to your actions. So we can't go away from your lotus feet. Please pour your nectar of love on our burning hearts, or else we will burn to death due to the fire of separation. See what powerful statement they are making. If you don't pour the nectar of your love on our burning hearts, we will burn to death due to the fire of separation. Please accept us. We have abandoned all our attachments to be with you, to serve you, to associate with you. Which woman will not deviate from dharma after hearing your flute? Your flute is deviating us from our dharma. Your flute is the cause of our erratic behavior. You have taken birth to relieve the distress and the fear of Brajvasis. Place your hand on our heads. Do not fear that your hand will be burnt. You will feel pleasure like the lotus bees, like the lotus bears the harsh sunlight. See what a poetical statement. Because we are burning with separation, don't think but if you touch us, your hand will burn. So you will feel something like touching the lotus flower. And with all, I could have elaborated everything in detail, but in essence, with the heartfelt expression of their love, they passed the test of Krishna. And Krishna decided to start his Rasalila pastime, which we will describe in the next lecture. Hare Krishna. What is important in this is Gopis underwent a very hard test, which was connecting their heart, concerning their heart. It was a very difficult test. They had so much love, but still, even after we love, the test will be there. It is not going to be so cheap. The Gopis were ready to undergo all the tests. That's why Krishna, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, worshipped these Gopis. That this kind of sacrifice nobody did. And in Krishna's incarnation as Krishna, Krishna said, I cannot repay you, oh my dear Gopis. I cannot repay you. What you have done for me, I cannot repay or reward you in any way. Although I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, owner of the whole creation, everything belongs to me. I can pour everything on you, but whatever I pour on you is not going to be enough rewarding you. So please be happy in the love that you have for me. Naparayahum, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Nice.
Amazing session. I have written down one or two questions, but
Please.
I feel the atmosphere get
No. You ask us, no problem. We are ready.
contaminated by these questions. What you have created right now. So, Prabhuji, one thing which just came to my mind, it's a very, maybe it's not, that why some could enter, although they all did tapasya and some couldn't enter the Rasalila.
It's like this, in my hospital, can everybody enter operation theatre? Also the doctors. Some are dermatologists, some are pediatricians, some are physicians, and some are general surgeons, and some are orthopedic surgeons, some are neurosurgeons. All are doctors. But can all doctors go into operation theatre? No. Can all doctors enter cath lab? No. Only cardiologists can go in cath lab. And some doctors are sitting only in OPD. And some are dentists, only deal with teeth. So even among doctors, there is categorization, there is qualifications, there is a hierarchy, there is ascending order, and there are highest people, there are middle people, there are general surgeons, there are everybody else is there. All are doctors only, right? So what we have to understand is there are so many categories of gopis, and they were not all allowed to enter Rasalila. How special Rasalila must be. What kind of expression Lord must be offering to all the gopis, which makes Rasalila so special. Till today we were thinking that only gopis entered, but not that all gopis entered. Once you go deeper and deeper to understand how specific and how special this whole pastime is. Any other question you have?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another thing which I wanted to ask, this has been that Yamuna Devi was a consort of Balramji and of Krishna, then that
No.
means...
She was not consort of Balramji. Never.
So, but then you just mentioned about that pastime of Balramji.
Yeah, Balramji, it is mentioned that Balramji took form of Krishna. But Yamuna Devi is a very special gopi. She serves there as river. And she serves as Kalindi in Dwarka also. And she creates an atmosphere in Vrindavan for the performance of Rasalila. But I don't remember that Yamuna Devi entered Rasalila to dance with Krishna. She married Krishna and went to Dwarka as his wife. And she remained as Yamuna in Vrindavan to create an atmosphere and charm the gopis and made them enjoy with Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody else has any questions? Then, we can.
Okay. If there is no question, goodbye to everybody. And I propose that I'm traveling to outstation on next Monday evening. So I propose to give this class on Sunday evening. Is that okay for everybody? Brother and Priya is okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
So same time at 6:30. Okay, let me unmute people who want to ask.
Yeah.
Them. Actually, let me unmute them. Okay, Madhulila, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, it's not a question, but it's just a realization that it is so difficult when all these gopis had to go through so many tapasyas. And what are we doing? We are doing nothing. And you still feel, oh, you are doing 16 rounds, you are listening, you feel satisfied, okay, with your spiritual life. But after hearing today's, I feel, oh my God, it's nothing.
This is taking admission in kindergarten. What we are feeling so proud about is getting admitted in kindergarten.
And how much Krishna will test us? Kitna humko pariksha lega hamara.
Every time we, suppose we give MBBS examination, right? You are a doctor, you give MBBS. So you became MBBS now, you became practicing doctor, right? So when you give a tough exam, you also get tough, very great reward also, no? Then you give entrance and you get admission and you get admission in MD. And then you do MD and you get a degree of MD, a specialized doctor. Now you're no more an ordinary doctor. So every time you go a higher test, you get a higher fruit. So it's not just torture and difficult test and sacrifices and pains and this and that. No, when you do that, you get a beautiful, sweet reward. When you get that sweet reward, the tests appear to be insignificant and worthy of them, worthy of all those. It's good that we did this. Look at the fruit that we received. So wonderful. So you are thinking about the pains that they went, but the pleasure that Krishna gave them after that made them forget everything what they went through. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That you pay a great thing, but that becomes insignificant compared to what you get in reward. That is Krishna consciousness. So every sacrifice, every tapasya that you do is actually insignificant compared to what you get in return. Let us not be hesitant. Let us not be fearful in offering, in sacrificing, in giving things for Krishna, for testing, for his testing. Because once you give that, what you receive is something which is indescribable. Only your heart will feel it. Nobody will be able to describe it in poetry. What I went through, what I'm feeling, what joy I'm feeling. Nobody can describe that. That's only you and Krishna. You will get the feeling. So we wish you all the best. Not hesitating to offer when asked for, and we wish you all the best to get that most indescribable reward of love from Krishna.
And that will come only in association with you, right?
Not with
only
me.
in association.
I am not qualified for that, but I can assure you that if you keep company of pure devotees and read Srimad Bhagavatam, you will get it. I am just like a matches, what is the match does? And this light, that's all. Baki fire, I'm just igniting. Baki, you have to take up the fire, that's all. So how
This
can I claim
reminds me of that
I
song.
am going with the cause? No, it's not just, I'm just trying to, I am on this side, you're on that side. That doesn't mean I know everything. I'm also sailing in the same boat. I'm also looking for that same thing. Hare Krishna. Any other questions there? So before we leave, again repeat that Sunday, 30th of January, we will meet at 6:30 p.m. Link will be sent to you, and we will continue our descriptions of Rasalila. Thank you very much. Take one time we'll chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
All of you should know that Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not different from Rasalila. I will explain that in detail next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.